All right, you might have heard this verse before as a Christian, that our wrestle is not against flesh and blood, but then it goes on to say against principalities, powers, etc., etc., etc. And the way that's often summarized is that our struggle is not against humans. And so a lot of time when there's conflict, they say, well, our struggle is not against flesh and blood. What if that's not the way that actually reads? What if that actually is saying something else? Well, that's exactly what's happening here. So let's take a look. For starters, to say that Paul says to have no conflict, or that there is no conflict or wrestling against humans, doesn't make sense. He has a wrestle against Barnabas. He has a wrestle against Peter. He has a wrestling against Alexander the coppersmith. He has a wrestle against Hymenaeus and Philetus. In 2 Corinthians 10, he says, "For such men are false apostles, deceitful workers, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ." And so the struggle in this verse is not talking about that we don't have a struggle against humans. That's unrealistic. There's lots of times where people have fully given themselves over to all deception and fully given themselves over to all selfishness. So what is this struggle talking about? For Ephesians 6:12, the way it's often translated is, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood." There's a problem with that. If you go look this up, right, Blue Letter Bible, you can Google this, it's pretty simple to find. The actual words here are, "For we wrestle not against blood and flesh." And the reason it's in that order is because we wrestle not against blood is the implication that we wrestle not against death, that we are saved by Christ. We are not wrestling against death. And this is a great fear for people. And the second is the flesh. We have a fleshful desire, which is helpful in that it helps to create challenges in us. Your flesh wants to survive. It wants to get what's best for it. Our struggle is not against the actions Christ is calling us to do, against what our flesh wants to do. I got the stunt dog here for this one. Let's say I'm asking him to walk or to jump over something, and that on the other side he sees another animal, he sees another struggle, he sees something. He will be afraid to do what I'm asking him. And the struggle is not against blood of death, and it's not against the flesh that is afraid to do what it should do. That the struggle is against the principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world. Those things all listed are human things. Those are not all spiritual things. The next one is exclusively spiritual. It says, against spiritual wickedness in high places. I wanted to cover this verse because the way I see this often in Christianity is when somebody is really opposing the message of God, when they are opposing a community, what happens a lot in Christian communities is they say, well, remember, our struggle is not against flesh and blood. But that's not what it says first. And second, it's a way of saying that what that person's doing, that it can't be their own decision, because the real struggle is against the spiritual things, the evil that is unseen. And the reality is sometimes, like we see in 2 Corinthians, people are serving Satan in their actions. And the only way that I can bring that to either the community moves forward or the person exits the community is by having conflict. I have to stand against evil. I have to stand in the gap. I have to hold my values and be honest about what's on my mind. And so nobody gets a pass, myself included, for when we are serving what it is Satan's called us to do. We are supposed to challenge others around us, but our struggle is not against death, and our struggle is not against the actions Christ is calling us to do, against what our flesh wants to do. Our struggle is against the deception that Satan leads into the world, and sometimes that's in the form of a struggle against a person. And so stand up, have conflict. And if you don't know how to have conflict, I encourage you to join the Uncommon Tribe. We have an entire course on this. We go through these sections to actually understand, how do I have fights with people that bring about fruitful outcomes? Talk to you tomorrow.
Tina Nolan had a man with a good place for sifting. He invited me digging, so I picked up my screen.